What is up, guys? DZ Fear, and just yesterday, a new mini box released on Duel Links. This is really exciting because we really had no idea when Konami was going to add another set into the game. This is a mini box, like I said, so it's only 80 cards per box or 80 packs per box, as opposed to the 200 packs per the normal boxes. So it's similar to like the water mini box in that regard. But what's cool about the mini boxes is that because it's a smaller set list, you have a much higher chance of pulling the cards that you need. So even though there's not as many cards to choose from, you have a much higher chance of actually getting the ones you want. So they're definitely really good investments. I mean, the water one obviously made one of the most meta decks in the game. Most of the good cards like Big Wave, Small Wave are in that set. This one isn't as game changing, at least from my initial reaction. I've only had about a day to playtest with these cards, but I still think there's some potential to be had, and especially in these 5 that I want to talk about today. We're not doing a top 10 list because I haven't had that much time to mull these cards over, but I think that these 5 are definitely going to be impactful going forward. So yeah, let's just get started. Number 5 is Legion the Fiend Jester. I like this card a lot. So it's basically just a spellcaster type monster, and then when it's on the field, you can tribute summon a spellcaster from your hand in addition to a normal summoner set. So basically you can normal summon this and then instantly tribute it for like a Dark Magician Girl, for example. But the cooler part is that when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a normal spellcaster monster from your deck or grave to your hand. So it immediately compensates you for the tribute that you originally did, and then you can search a second tribute monster if you wanted. There are some normal monsters, but this card is something that like only gets better with time. As more normal spellcasters are released, this card just searches such a wide variety of cards that it can definitely be more versatile. And when basically all it needs to search is just like a couple good attack monsters, so that you can play this, some Dark Magician Girls, and then some of those normal spellcasters in like a Yugi deck that then get the boost from the field spell. I don't know if this card will instantly be competitive, but I think it definitely has potential to be competitive. And I also, just a quick shout out, I know in this channel I usually just talk about the ranked duels. This card's actually really good in the campaign mode of Duel Links, because a lot of those missions require you to do a lot of tribute summons, and you can get one tribute summon off on your first turn and then search like a Dark Magician and get a second tribute off in the next turn. So even though it's not like the important part about this card, it is definitely worth noting that it's a good thing to pick up if you're trying to get your way through those missions to get to stage 30, so you can unlock the level 40 gate character duelists that makes it easier to unlock the better cards in the game. Number 4 is actually the Shallow Grave. This card actually did have some competitive uses when it was originally released, but in this game in particular, it's really cool because it's one of the only generic revival cards for your own monsters. There are some like really type-specific revival cards in the game. The dinosaur one comes to mind, that you like discard a card to revive a dinosaur from your graveyard. But outside of that, like there's autonomous action unit, but that's your opponent's cards. There's not a lot of really good recursion, but the Shallow Grave, even though it gives your opponent a free monster, it resets stuff that you lost. And if you're getting back like a larger monster, I mean, I think the use that I can really see for this card is like in water, because they have so many high-level tribute monsters that you can bring back, and your opponent's only getting back like a level 4 monster. So that's definitely something to consider. But also, there are some flip effects in this game. Hain and 4-Starred Ladybug of Doom come to mind. Both those cards are solid. And when you're bringing them back for free, I definitely think there's a viable defensive strategy there. But I just really like Shallow Grave. I mean, it's a good card in this game in particular, just because there aren't any other cards that really do what it's doing. I think when you have such a limited card pool like you do on Duel Links, whenever a card is doing something that no other card can do, it's worth getting a mention. So that's why I made number 4. Number 5 is Rigorous Reaver. That's a tongue twister, but yeah, this card is really great. So it's a 4-star 1600 attack monster. It does have a flip effect, so you could combo it with Shallow Grave, but the flip effect is both players discard a card. That's not the real reason I like it. The real reason I like it is because when it is destroyed by battle, the thing that destroyed it loses 500 attack and defense. It's very similar to the fish monster that does that. I think it's one of the anglers, needlefish possibly, but there is a fish that water plays usually 1 copy of, but this is the plant version, and it has 100 more attack than that fish does. But I like this card a lot, and I think that one of the things that they were pushing in the set were the insect and plant monsters. Unfortunately, Weevil does not have an ability that starts you off with Forest. I don't know why he doesn't, because that would make perfect sense. But it seems like even though the set, I mean, the cover artwork is like a dragon and there are a lot of pyro monsters in here, I think the insects are really the real winners of who got the better cards. But if I was going to play a plant insect deck, this guy would definitely be an auto inclusion. I think he's a solid card, and he'll go up to 1800 when you have Forest on the field. I don't know. I know they're adding more skills later on, and if they do give Weevil a Forest ability, where they add a character with a Forest ability, this card would definitely be like a staple. Number 2 is Pinch Hopper. I like this card a lot. So doesn't have a lot of attack and defense, but when it's destroyed, you can special an insect monster from your hand with no restrictions. That's actually just incredible. There was the Pyro version of this card in this set as well. But the problem with the Pyro version is that all the good Pyros you want to special summon can't be special summoned. Like the Flame Emperor can't be special summoned, Flame Ogre can't be special summoned. But with Insect Hopper, you have a lot more choices to actually go with. Insect Queen being the name, one worth mentioning at least. Insect Queen is definitely a solid card in this game. There's not really a good way to summon it at the moment. I know there's some insect cards that like put tokens on the fields, they can tribute summon it. I suppose you could use like Stray Lambs as well, but Pinch Hopper definitely is like the best way to do that. You can just, on your first turn, if you're going second, you can crash it into something and then summon Insect Queen, and then you have an Insect Queen and they can't really do anything about it. Obviously, Insect Queen you have to tribute monsters to attack with, so maybe you're just playing like another, I know in this set they released a level 6 insect with 2200 attack, I believe, and maybe that's better than Insect Queen. I still think Insect Queen's attack boosting effect makes it more viable pick, but I guess only time will tell. But I think adding floater cards like this is definitely something that they have to be really careful with. Cards like Mystic Tomato and Shining Angel and UFO Turtle aren't in this game because they'd be way too powerful. I know they don't seem like they would be way too powerful, but when you have floaters that just summon stuff from the deck, it could potentially warp the format in this game. So I think starting slow with cards like Pinch Hopper and the Pyro version of it is the right way to go, just because we're going to see if people are going to actually play these floaters. The number 1 pick, I think, was pretty obvious if you looked at the set list yourself. The Golden Apples. So I'll just read through this effect. So basically, when you take battle damage, when you control no monsters, you can special summon a token, and its attack and defense are equal to how much damage you took, and you gain life points equal to the damage. So basically, it's a better Enchanted Javelin. Enchanted Javelin is a straight -1, but this not only gives you back the life points, it also gives you a monster. That's pretty crazy. I think trap cards in this game are kind of lacking. You're really limited to Mikazur. I know every single video I mispronounce that card. You're pretty much limited to that, though. Maybe Magical Arm Shield. That card's pretty good, but I think it's definitely a trap to consider. A lot of times you are getting attacked directly, and then you can now just gain it back and then summon a token in defense. This is especially good if you're being attacked by something with like 1900 attack, so that you get a 1900 defensive monster, so then they can't attack over it. But the other thing I really want to mention in this card is that it actually boosts the Yugi deck. Yugi is definitely one of the better starting heroes if you're deciding between Yugi and Kaiba. Yugi's for sure better just because of his ability. By putting the field spell on the field that can boost fiends and spellcasters, you can actually boost the Golden Apples token because it's a fiend. I think that's something that's really easily overlooked, but I don't think that Yugi deck is necessarily terrible. It's just not as high of a caliber as like Dinosaurs or Water, but there are a lot of good fiend and spellcaster monsters, specifically like I think of like Ru Kujin Powered, or however you pronounce the guy. That's like a 1600 attack normal monster. That goes up to 1800 attack with the field spell. But also there's just a ton, like actually just tons of 1500 attack monsters. They go up to 1700 attack, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add in like any sort of equip spell, they can go up pretty high. And then in addition to the Golden Apples, that'll get boosted by 200. So you're usually looking at around a 1900 to 2100 attack Golden Apples token. And that's actually really good. I don't know if any other deck will play this. It might be too slow, but I do think that this game is lacking good trap cards. And I mean, it really shouldn't be, because when you think of like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, the reason trap cards aren't usually played is because they're too slow. But this game is inherently slow, so I think it's kind of hard to say. I don't know why they're not adding like really powerful traps. I mean, I guess I can understand like Mere Force and stuff, but even anything that's just like, I don't know. There's just like Sakuratsu Armor, Torrential Tribute, maybe like Needle Sealing. That'd be a little harder to trigger than Torrential Tribute. But for a game that's so focused on like grinding your opponent out of cards and slowly whittling down their life points over a couple turns, I mean, that's sort of like the audience they're going for, the people that want the old school dueling. For a game that has all of that, you'd think that there'd be better trap cards, or more incentive to play better trap cards. But I think the Golden Apples definitely bring something new to the table. I'm really glad that they chose to include this card because it definitely never got a chance to be good in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But man, I do think this card will be played. I think if you just go through the set list, it's the most obvious card that will be played. Maybe there's some other cards that have potential combos, but this card's really straightforward, and I think it could benefit a lot of the modern decks, or the current decks that we're seeing in Duel Links in the metagame. But yeah, that was my top 5 list of the new pack. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what cards you disagree or agree with in the comments below, and I'll see you later. Bye.